going to be talking about winter and talking about the trees. Winter is the coldest season of the year. There are 4 seasons. Each season has 3 months in them. The 4 seasons are spring, summer, autumn and winter. Spring has the 3 months of March, April and May in it. And then summer has June, July and August in it. Autumn has September, October and November in it. And then winter has December, January and February in it. We are in February in winter. And as you can see, I'm dressed up like this because it's very cold out here. Winter happens between autumn and spring. So autumn is before winter and spring is after winter. In winter we get longer nights and shorter days. I don't like it when it's longer nights because I'm a little bit scared of the dark and no one sleeps with me in my room. And I don't like it when it's shorter days because I like daylight, I don't like darkness. We have winter because of the Earth's axis. The axis of the Earth is when the Earth is tilted. It's not straight like this, it's tilted like that. So in winter time, the Earth is tilting away from the sun. So the fist is my fist is the sun, and my hand is the Earth's axis. So the Earth tilts away. So half of this is the northern hemisphere. The top bit is the northern hemisphere, and the bottom bit is the southern hemisphere. So when it's tilting away, the southern hemisphere is in summertime, and the northern hemisphere is in wintertime. But when it's tilting towards the sun, the southern hemisphere is in winter, and the northern hemisphere is in summer. Because when it's facing the sun, then the sun is more closer, and then it warms up more. And in winter time, we have long nights and shorter days. In the daytime, we don't have much sun in winter, so there isn't much time for the ground and the earth to heat up. And then there's longer nights, so it's longer darkness and stuff. And then there's lots of time for the earth to cool down. Like if it's in summertime and you go under a tree for shade, then it's cooler there because the shadow of the tree is over the ground, so it's more like dark on the ground, so the ground doesn't heat up when like everywhere else does, because it's not in the shadow of the tree. And in Uganda, it's basically warm all the time because some of Africa is on the northern hemisphere, and the other bit is on the southern hemisphere, and the equator is basically going through Uganda. So if you want to run away from a cold place, then go to Uganda because it's so warm there. Because my mum comes from Uganda, so we always go there. We haven't been there for ages, and I really miss Uganda. What happens in winter? Lots of things can happen in winter. Like you can get snow, frost, you can even get ice, and you can play a lot in the snow. Here we had like 3 snowfalls here. The first 2 only lasted for half a day, but the last one lasted for a whole week. And in the first lot of snow, we made snowmen. In the second lot of snow, we tried to make a snow igloo to live in. Well, not to live in, just to be in for a bit. And a lot of snow, we did a whole load of sledging down a nice steep hill. You can do a lot of things in the snow. You can make snow angels, go sledging. You can even make snow houses or igloos, and you can also make some snowmen. Snowmen are very fun and easy to make, and so is sledging. It's very easy and fun to do. And anyone might wonder, how would you keep warm in winter? Well, if you want to keep warm in winter, you need to put on more clothes. So you need to put on a hat, a nice warm hat, gloves, a coat, some nice warm socks and boots when you go outside, warm trousers, and a coat when you go outside. Most of these clothes we put on when we're going outside, but we need to keep our house warm. So how you keep your house warm is maybe you should have some blankets inside, and you should maybe have a fire and a fireplace, so then that's where we burn our wood from. And we have a fireplace, blankets, and even radiators, because you could have radiators, underfloor heatings, because there are lots of things that you can do to keep your house warm. Some people have electric blankets. Some people use hot water bottles. They put some water in the hot water bottles, and then they put them, like hot water, in the hot water bottles, and they put them in their bed to keep them warm, to keep the bed warm for when they go there to sleep. And also when you're ill or have a cold or something, then you can also use hot water bottles for that. And hot soups, they're so yummy as well. However much it's cold outside in wintertime, it's good to go outside and run around, have some fresh air, and go for a walk. It's also good because in winter, because sometimes you can get a little bit of sun. Here we get like the smallest drop of sun, and when we're inside the house we say, come on, let's go outside and get the sunshine, and as soon as we step out the door, the sun's gone and it's just cold outside. And what's next when you go inside, get a cup of hot cocoa or hot chocolate or a nice hot cup of tea, and wrap up in a nice warm blanket next to the fire and watch a nice telly. Plants slow down in winter with their growth, and they come nearly to a halt. Sometimes they can die, and sometimes they keep living in the cold. As you see, these trees, some of these trees that were behind me here and now are behind me, they don't have leaves on them. These ones are deciduous trees. You might be wondering, what are deciduous trees? Deciduous trees are trees that shed their leaves in winter time, so then they lose their leaves and new buds will come and form some new leaves and maybe even form some flowers for us. There are also some trees that still are green. Why are they still green? Well, they're still green because they are evergreens. Evergreen trees keep their leaves, and most of them stay green, but sometimes they can go brown, but they still stay on the tree. So now, as we're in winter, most of the trees shed their leaves and the leaves fall off and they become dry, so they're easily breaking off. But sometimes also there are trees which still have their leaves on. These are called evergreens. So the evergreens keep their leaves. Their leaves might go a bit brown and they might fall off a bit, but they mostly stay green. Eucalyptus tree. It's somehow leaning over and leaning on this tree, which is a brown tree, because it's not an evergreen. And I think the eucalyptus tree is an evergreen, and the leaves on it you can use for like medicine. So you boil it and then you basically drink the water and it will help you for when you like have a cold or a cough or a flu. This is a willow tree. So in winter they are brown. See? They will go brown, and in the spring or the summer they will go back to having leaves and green. Some of these deciduous trees are apple trees, pear trees, cherry trees, birch trees, and oak trees. The birch and oak trees, they do shed their leaves, but only in a very strong wind. But they just go brown and shrivel up on the tree and don't fall off. This bush is the birch tree, which does shed its leaves, but it's not a heavy wind yet, so they don't fall off. Even when I do this, only when you pull them off or in a heavy wind will they come off. Even when you try and pull them off, they're quite hard to get off. So this is the birch tree. And the young oak trees do the same as well. Some of the evergreen trees are Ellie Agnes, box plant, choicea, laurel, and robinia. I was just trying to think of what the name of my favourite tree was. It's robinia. There are also more evergreen trees, like this plant. I've forgotten what the name is, but this plant is a Christmas plant because it flowers in December. Then there is also this plant as the box plant. I wish I could get to it, but I can't because this is my grandma's garden here. So that's the box plant. It's been cut in a nice shape, and I don't know what it looks like. Maybe it's like a cake. There are also conifer trees, which are also evergreen. This tree is a conifer. Some of these trees I don't know the name of, but some of them are conifers. So this one is a conifer. Then there is this one, which is a conifer. And there is also this one, which is a conifer. In the conifers, there is this tree here, which my mum thinks is a good tree for a Christmas tree, which I don't think. And then there is this one over here, which I think is a good one for a Christmas tree. It's also a conifer. There is also ash tree, which is a deciduous tree. We use ash trees very often. We use it all the time, really, for the fire, to keep us warm in the house. We put on the fire because it's very good for burning on the fire, because you can use it and you can cut it down from the tree now and then put it on the fire and it will burn fine. And then you could cut it down now and leave it for a year and then come back to it and burn it, and it will be fine. When you cut down a tree, then you should plant 10 trees, so that then we can have trees all around us, because we need trees, and the trees are good because they also give us oxygen to be able to breathe, because people are chopping down the trees in the forests to make wood and things to use to make things with. I did talk about when you cut down a tree, you plant 10. Why don't we change it to 50 or 100? What do you think? The insects die, but some adult insects survive by hiding under rocks, in people's homes, under logs, under leaf litter, and in holes in trees. Animals hibernate, which means they basically go to sleep and just rest their bodies. And with the insects, they sleep, they just stay there in a dormant animals that hibernate are bears, hedgehogs, frogs, and snakes. They are some of the animals that will hibernate. The insects that go in a dormant state are wasps, flies, ants, ladybirds, butterflies, and dragonflies. They are some of the insects that go in a dormant state in winter time. Among the insects I've talked about, the ladybirds, me and my mum found loads of them underneath our door, trying to keep warm. The ladybirds look so pretty. Some insects produce antifreeze in their bodies so that they can keep alive, but basically be like they're dead, without bursting and dying. In winter time, as you can see, I've got my pond behind me. It isn't too cold that it's frozen, but sometimes the pond can be frozen over, the puddles can be frozen, and icicles can hang from the roof. You might be wondering, what causes icicles? Well, icicles are formed like when maybe water is running down the roof and then it just freezes midway down. So then it's just a bit of ice coming down from the roof. This plant that I'm standing on is a box plant. Then there's conifers behind there, and there's also a cherry tree. I didn't talk about what happens with the birds. The birds migrate and they fly to Africa, where my mum's country is. Some of them go to Uganda, which is my mum's country. If you haven't noticed, the box plant and the conifers are more of the same. And the odd one out of these plants is the cherry tree, because it has shed its leaves and it isn't green. But the box plant and the conifers, they're all green and nice and colourful for the world. Hope you liked my video today about learning about trees and winter. Please subscribe and remember to hit that like button. Bye! Hope to see you in my next video.